Alright, can anyone raise their hand and tell me if they've ever been to the Dominican Republic? No? Okay. Well, personally, I know many people from there, mainly baseball players. I chose this topic because I wanted to inform you about the business we do with this country. So first off, I'll give you an overview of the country, then we'll move on to the lifestyles, and then I'll show you how to manage yourself in the business environment for the Dominican Republic. Okay, let's start off with some information about the Dominican. The Dominican Republic, being compared to Vermont and New Hampshire combined, is known to carry roughly over 10 million people. It is located in the West Indies. It occupies the eastern 2/3 of the island of Hispaniola, which it shares with Haiti. Duarte Peak is the highest point in the West Indies, reaching 10,417 feet. The Dominican believes in a representative democracy. The president is Leonel Fernandez Reina. In 1900, Dominican was considered a dictatorship. Since 1884, they have had 38 constitutions, which is more than any other country. 95% of the population are considered Roman Catholic. The Dominican has many trading partners, including the US, the UK, China, Venezuela, Haiti, Colombia, and Mexico. The agriculture consists of sugarcane, coffee, cotton, tobacco, beans, cattle, dairy products, beef, and eggs. Some things they get from other countries include foodstuffs, petroleum, cotton, fabrics, as well as chemicals and pharmaceuticals. Now that I've explained a little bit about the country itself, let's move on to the social aspect of the country. The official language of the Dominican is Spanish. The Dominican uses Old Spanish words, and its common language it is common to drop the letter S. For example, mosquitoes would be mosquito, and donde está would be donde tú estás. I don't know how to say that. Some other language consists of Haitian Creole, which is spoken by those of Haitian descent, and Southwestern Creole English, which is based on West African languages and English. And according to Benjamin Bailey at the University of Massachusetts, up to 90% of Dominicans have sub-Saharan African ancestry. His 2010 study published in the language of multiple identities among Dominican Americans helped the reader understand the different cultures. English is spoken mainly in tourist areas. If you don't know Spanish, then it'll be very hard to get around the Dominican. In the Dominican, there are only 8 main highways. There are also roads which connect to smaller and less populated towns, and these roads seem to be in bad condition or they're unpaved. To get around, people use transit, buses, or even public cars, which we in the United States call taxis. The Dominican has a railway system, but is mainly used to transport sugarcane. Some other transportation options include ports and harbors, and of course the airlines used to fly in and out of the country. In the Dominican, there are many different gestures, which are also related to Cuba. The puckered lips, which indicates someone's pointing at someone or something by spinning the forefingers around one another. It signals maybe later. And then, other than the U.S., Dominicans are comfortable with close proximity, because usually in the U.S. we tend to have our own little space. Next, let's discuss the business world Dominican. During a meeting, Dominicans tend to have similar traits as us. Usually, when you're scheduling appointments, you do 2 to 3 weeks in advance, arrive on time. When introducing written material, make sure to have both in Spanish and English. When it comes to negotiating business, Dominicans take it very seriously. According to the information I found at Comercio Global, the website of the Dominican Republic Guide, lastly updated in 2015, it is known that it will usually take several meetings to come to an agreement. Relationships are viewed as more important than business documents, and also you should avoid high-pressure sales tactics. When it comes to the business world, the way you dress is very important. Appropriate business attire is expected. Men should wear good quality, conservative, dark-colored business suits. Women should wear stylish suits or dresses, as well as makeup and jewelry. Business cards are also important when it comes to meetings. Usually exchanged during introductions, and also make sure to have one side of the business card in Spanish. Also, make sure to show respect when handed a business card. Make sure to put it in an area where it can be kept safe. Moving on. If invited to someone's home in the Dominican, don't forget the gift. Usually you should bring chocolate or pastries. It shows respect. Avoid gifts that are black or purple because they consider mourning colors. Gifts are usually open when they are received. When it comes to dining, you should always show your manners. Dress well, arriving 15 to 30 minutes later than is considered on time. Guests are served first. When the host says enjoy, then you may begin to eat. Always keep your hands visible, and of course, no elbows on the table. Now let's conclude what we discussed. So first, I gave you a brief description of the country. Then I explained different language styles as well as transportation and different kinds of gestures. Lastly, I talked about the business world in the Dominican and what is expected when going to a meeting or going out to dine. And so in all, the Dominican Republic is made for tourists. And with this presentation, you may be able to survive this country. Thank you. Let me show all of it.
Jason.